Hi, this is Dee at Aloha Astro. Let's take a look at the forecast for the moon transiting Capricorn to Aquarius, Wednesday, October 1st. Can activate a search for truth or enlightenment, and as you seek, you may discover unexpected or strange information about yourself, other people, or life itself, as the moon shifts from a cardinal earth sign to a fixed air sign, while joining Pluto retrograde in Aquarius and participating in a kite aspect pattern with the Sun in Libra, Uranus retrograde in Gemini, and Neptune retrograde in Aries conjunct Saturn retrograde in Pisces, as well as square aspects with Mercury in Libra and Mars in Scorpio, and a sesqui-square aspect with Venus in Virgo conjunct the South Node in Virgo. Expect to feel as though you already knew something or someone at a soul level or at some other place or time when you are in the midst of experiencing it or them. But you are also aware that not everything is exactly the same, so you may be focused on discerning what was in the past to help you navigate the present and future. If you seek answers outside yourself, you may not trust what you receive, but that can be a good thing if it results in you claiming your personal power and turning within for discernment and confirmation. Your higher self is quietly and patiently waiting for you to make a move. If you saw yesterday's forecast, you will recall that the issues of devotion and service came up to activate a decision surrounding the work of love and commitment in terms of who you are, what you do, and who you are doing it with. Today could show you the bigger picture to help you understand the spiritual reason for yesterday's consciousness shift, and you may also become aware of just how meaningful and life-changing your commitment to devotion and service to yourself, a cause, a project, or a relationship will be. You can be motivated to go to the ends of the earth to make something real or to fulfill what you believe is your destiny, and you are willing to make the necessary sacrifices. So here's that moon shifting from Capricorn to Aquarius. I believe it occurs around 3-4 in the afternoon, Eastern Time, and the grand trine of air energy with the Sun in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, and Uranus in Gemini is feeding the kite and the top of the kite where we find Neptune and Saturn conjunct, one in Aries, one in Pisces. That in turn is connecting in a supportive way with Jupiter in Cancer, and we've got Venus off here, the other beneficial planet, with the South Node making this sesqui-square to Pluto and the Moon. So we still have some of that theme going that we had yesterday, that it is better to go all in on something and grow than to avoid it and not. And the understanding comes at a deeper soul level, especially if it is something that you're already patterned for, or if it is somebody that you have a connection with from the past, or a place, or any particular talent or skill, because we've got the South Node in there with Venus in pragmatic Virgo. And this also would be, how do I solve the problem? How do I make something sacred is what that devotional energy is about. And Jupiter is pointing pretty much in the same way, as it's connecting with Neptune, a planet of beauty, healing, and inspiration, and Saturn, a planet of reality and doing the work of something. And that would require the opening up and sharing, the symbiosis. And we have relationships on all levels highlighted right now by the 3 air signs. The one-on-one more intimate and close relationships of Libra, the communal and casual relationships, brotherly, sisterly energy, neighbors, acquaintances of Gemini, and then the larger groups and organizations and society as a whole, indicated by Aquarius. So you're basically figuring out at this point in time, where do you fit into all of those places? How can you either maximize the energy that comes from them, or how can you connect in the best way possible with them? Then we've got this grand cross going on with Mercury. And if you do have any planets at all in the cardinal signs, you may be feeling the tension of this right now, because it is putting a lot of pressure on the seriousness of things, and whether you do or you do not want to go in deeper or be involved. Ultimately, the decision would probably be a yes, but there's an awareness with that grand cross going on that you are at a turning point and that it will change you. That as soon as your energy is merging with another individual or group, even the commitment you might make to bringing something out to the world that you create. And when you open up and go all in, that is going to create a new exchange of energy. You will have an influence over the other person or people. They will have an influence over you, and you will go through the growth of Jupiter, the transformation potential of Pluto. And Pluto, when it interacts with anything else in a square or an opposition, can bring up the fear of losing power, of not being in control, of having to do the work of establishing boundaries. So Pluto, ruled by Scorpio, squaring Mars in Scorpio right now. And this is going to trigger even more of that kind of knee-jerk reaction of going in deeper, of opening up and sharing with others on a deeper level. And we're not far off from Mercury also entering Scorpio, going into that Scorpio season. The Sun, a couple more weeks, but Mercury's right around the corner. Mars there now. Mars is a very physical planet, action-oriented planet. Scorpio as a sign often sorts things into all or nothing, good or bad, doesn't necessarily see the gray area. Interacting with Pluto, also in a fixed sign, so we have fixed water, fixed air. In the retrograde of Pluto, if there is something from a past life, some of those memories could be just underneath the surface, and they might be about something that was hurtful, something that was frightening, something that had to do with power or control, or even massive upheaval or loss. And those memories can be triggered at this time. I don't know what to say for how to navigate that, but generally the best way is to look toward the other aspects that a planet is making. That would be to remind yourself that there are other people, there are other resources of knowledge or information available to you, and there's a future. And just because there can be some instinctual fear, possibly triggered by a past life association, consider that if it's presenting itself to you now, it's doing so for a reason, and that you do have the grand trine and the kite to enable you to do things in a different way this time. It does not have to be the same story replayed, or you might actually get to the point of reenacting something from the past where you realize, this isn't the way I want it to go. This isn't what I want to repeat again. How can I do it differently this time? And this long-standing minor grand trine we have at the top of the kite does involve outer planets, all retrograde. So I would expect that something, whether it's in this life, but you're still carrying it around, and maybe it's time to let it go, but the issue is going to come back up to be felt, to be seen. And if it is past life oriented, then I truly believe that whatever anybody else might be able to do for you in terms of getting that information or knowledge, we are all connected and we are all a part of the all that is. So you have the same access. In fact, the information you receive may be more relevant to you specifically and possibly not colored in any way by somebody else who may want to be thought well of if they're bringing information forward for you. So you would be getting it unfiltered and pure if you go directly to your higher self and say, is this something from a past life? Is this something that I need to know now? Please show me. And then pay attention and watch, because it may come in a dream. It may come through a book or a movie. It may come from overhearing somebody else's conversation, and suddenly you'll just get that knowing or that feeling. Maybe it will be a certain time period that's shown to you, and that will wake up something in your mind where you suddenly have the remembering and you can connect the dots. So ask your questions, particularly before you meditate or before you go to sleep at night. Keep a pad and pen near the bed, or prepare to record on your phone when you wake up. You might get your answers as to what's going on, why, the people involved, what lessons do you have in all of it, and how can you do it different, do it in a different way this time. Whenever the moon does join Pluto, which is a once a month thing for about a day and a half that we feel that, emotions are intensified. So the things that you feel today may be very extreme or exaggerated, and that will diminish as we get past today and the moon moves away from Pluto. But in the meantime, Pluto is a planet of power and transformation, and because it rules Scorpio and it is squaring Mars in Scorpio, some of the stuff that you dig up might be, number one, surprising because Pluto in Aquarius, and also Pluto making that trine to Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius. But if so, then it's because you needed to know. That doesn't mean that it's all going to be exciting or fun or feel wonderful if something is revealed to you. But ultimately, it is probably for the best, and it is probably a necessary part of understanding, processing, releasing, and growing. So don't be afraid to go in deeper with Pluto today, being joined by the moon. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll be back again tomorrow.